Indiana Jones. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute, the podcast in which we celebrate and discuss the film Raiders of the Lost Ark 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm Pete Mummert.
I'm Jerry Porter.
And Christy Porter is Christy Porter, and she's still visiting us. Hey, Christy.
Hi there.
Welcome back. It's
Thanks.
good to have you here, closing out yet another week. 2 weeks in a row. They said it couldn't be done, but here she is.
Lucky dogs.
Lucky ducks.
Lucky ducks.
Yes.
All right, minute 30. Let's do this. Minute 30 begins with the not thirsty Toht entering Marion's closed bar, and it ends with Marion asking Herr Mack to listen. And just cutting right to the end, until maybe this year, I didn't understand Herr Mack. I didn't understand what she was saying. Was she saying A-I-R Mack or what? But now I get that she's saying H-E-R-R Mack. Like, instead of saying, hey, Mack, he's a Nazi, he's a German, so you're saying Herr Mack.
Although
Like,
you would actually pronounce it hair.
Are you really sure about that?
I don't know. Am I alone?
Well, the script says hair. I looked it up because it does not. I thought maybe she's trying to say Herr Mack, but it doesn't. You would pronounce an H in German, so I looked in the script, and the script does say Herr Mack.
Do you think
She
she's...
just mispronounces it.
Which would be odd because she seems very good at learning other languages.
Yeah.
I thought the guy's name, like he had a nickname, and his nickname was Aramac.
I thought he was an awesome pilot, and they called him Herr Mack.
No, I'm saying she goes, listen, Aramac. And I was like, oh, she called him Aramac. Like I'm not saying I was right.
You're just saying you were dumb.
Until tonight, earlier today, when I looked it up myself, and you're like, oh, it's Aramac. Like, Mr. Mack?
Yeah, exactly. Is that Mr.?
Yeah.
Hair
Like
is
Mr.
basically
Guy?
Mr., right?
Hair means Mr.
Yeah, Mr. Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of that makes any sense at all.
It does.
In fact,
She's an American. She's a Spitfire Brooklyn Dodgers American, and she's going to call the guy Mack. But since he's a German, she's calling him Herr Mack.
That's actually probably good because in 1936 they would have seen enough German stuff on the news that she would just pick up little stuff like that and she would probably get it wrong.
In Nepal.
Does
It's a nice
anybody
touch.
know? Anyone know? I mean, why would she know or suggest that? I mean, how would she know that he's even German?
Well, he calls her Fräulein.
Oh, he does.
Oh, that's true. Fair enough.
yeah,
He called her
yeah.
Fräulein. All right. I stand corrected.
I have a note that Spielberg's getting a lot of use out of that wall shadow.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
These
He
guys
sure
enter with
is.
the exact same shadow on the same wall as Indy a few minutes ago.
Although I like that they look a lot smaller than Indy did.
Yeah?
Like he
Yeah.
cowered.
But if you look, one of the guys, it's like it very pronouncedly like there's three. They show the picture and there's like, Toht and his henchmen. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw, they have names like one of like, it's terrible. One of them's like, Messy Mongol or whatever,
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's like Chuck E. Cheese vibe.
Herr McCheese,
Hair.
Hair Burglar, Hair Grimace.
It's really unfortunate.
That guy's crazy about onion rings. No, but then when they show it and they're like, oh, there's 4 heads. And then there's 3 heads silhouetted. And then the 4th guy kind of comes in from the left.
Oh, is it a shadow?
And there's a 4th head joins him later. Like he went over to the corner and be like, oh, what's that? Is that a yak skull?
I gotta ask
And then
where
he
she
comes
gets
back
these.
and like, get over here.
We're being
Like a Nepalese
menacing.
Mount Rushmore.
This scene was my introduction to the word nefarious. And I remember it showing up in a high school vocab test, and I was super excited. 'Cause I got
It's
to
the only
use
place
nefarious.
it ever shows up, nefarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I don't understand is Toht says, surely he told you there must be other interested parties. And, then she says it must have slipped his mind. And then he says the man is nefarious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does that have to do with anything?
Well, it's like even he knows he's kind of a creep.
Well, see, I didn't study in high school, so even though I had it on a test, I still don't know what nefarious means. So you guys tell me.
It's a secret, Tom. We won't tell you.
Ah.
And you're going to go the rest of your life thinking it's, Aramac.
Hang on. Nefarious definition.
Typically of an action or activity, wicked or criminal.
Oh, see? Wicked or criminal activity. That's
But
our
what does
Indiana
that have
Jones.
to do with him, it's slipping his mind that he didn't say?
Because he's not playing fair. He's being, from his point of view, dirty dealing and, maybe trying to, well, I don't want to read too much into it. You could say he's like cheating Marion because he's not saying like, hey, other guys might give you a different price or something. Or he's like cheating the Nazis by not mentioning them to Marion and maybe getting the thing from them.
But let's revisit that last scene. It's like, so Andy's like, he's going to, I got $3,000 and I'll give you two. And he's like, now, wait a minute. There might be some other suitors. Yeah. You might get some other fellas coming a-calling.
The Better Business Bureau dictates that I need to let you know that there's
Other interested parties. And then because he doesn't say that, he's nefarious.
Right.
That you're like, he may be nefarious, but not for that reason.
Yeah.
It's because he jacked you up 10 years ago and left you with a pregnancy test.
Whoa!
Well, like,
Nothing
they a few minutes ago they needed Marion for some reason to throw some shot glasses down, and right now they need somebody to say the word nefarious because it's awesome and it sounds
All right.
good.
Well, maybe he's just as puzzled because Indiana Jones and Marion reune in 3 minutes? Like their whole interaction is about 3 minutes long in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why he's nefarious, because like so much was skipped.
Well,
He's
he's
been
super
robbed of a
pushy.
complete scene.
He says, "I hope for your sake."
Mm-hmm.
He gets real. It's like, do you still? I hope for your sake you still have it. And what I want to know is he saying, because if you don't, we're gonna open a can of whoop ass on you, or is he like, I hope for your sake you still have it, because then I could get you a lot of money.
Right. Yeah, he's still being menacing, nice guy right now. So he could be meaning that. He could be either way.
And I liked that he didn't even have to ask how much Indy offered. He was like, oh, I'll certainly offer you more.
Right. Oh, he's got the entire Third Reich at his back.
Yeah, but we
Call him
got
up
all
and
the
get a check.
feds,
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a little jingoistic, but we got all the feds. I mean, we got Porkins funding
Yeah. Call up Porkins.
our little.
There was a discussion a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week ago, about maybe Marion was cheating at the drinking contest that was
Right.
floated out there.
Right.
And the only evidence you need that is complete baloney is her smoke in Toad's face. She's a ballsy lady. And she can handle her booze. She can handle her Nazis. She looks a little bit like Kelly Leak. And she's awesome.
I see. So you're just falling in love, over and over again
Yeah.
in these 4 minutes, aren't you?
I am.
Did you? I
It's
feel
not
like
getting any
Tommy.
better.
Are you the only one who heard that xylophone ascending? And the smoke goes up. Tommy's in love.
Oh, there you go.
Tell me more about how I'm nefarious.
This is actually what it made me think is like, wow, Marion smokes magical cigarettes.
Why is that?
It's like the only time. It's like there's a complete pause, and you're like, that might be the only time in the entire film where Toht seems touchable.
Yeah. Yeah. And it comes from
Yeah.
Marion Ravenwood.
Yep.
She gets him with one puff of smoke.
Yeah, and he stops and it's quiet and he coughs because you're like, your immune system's not so good.
He tries not to, but
They're
he
those
does.
dainty little.
Well, it's because he's such a
cough.
twittering breather, right?
Yeah,
He's
I guess
he's
they
got
match
very
with sleep.
shallow lungs. Very shallow. So
I think
why
that it even does more damage than his face melting off.
Spoilers.
Just like cuts right to his. It's like, oh, geez, you caught me off guard.
Well, where did she get the cigarette? Why would she light a cigarette right then?
It's the 30s.
Well, yeah, but she's about to go to bed up the stairs.
Is she?
You know,
I don't know.
absolutely. She hangs up her staff of Ra medallion, and she puts her money in her cigar box, and then it's night.
She's doing her ablutions.
Yeah, that's her ablutions. Very good. And then here's another question: if she does have a cigarette, isn't it in the 30s? I'm pretty sure this is true that women never, ever, ever lit their own cigarettes.
Well, maybe stateside. She's like, stuck in Nepal in a bar by herself.
All right. So how does that cigarette get lit?
What are you talking about? She's surrounded by flame.
No,
whole
they
place
show
is
she pulls
smoking.
out. She pulls out a.
Like a yak's
lighter.
head candle.
She has a straight up lighter.
Okay. And
shaped
Pete,
like a yak skull.
Pete, when were lighters invented?
Alderon.
When when was the Zippo made, guys?
Oh my god.
Was it 1936? No.
No idea. Is it a World War
sorry,
II
Pete.
thing?
It's a post-World War II thing, even.
Oh.
This is why women in the 30s always had to have, big, strong, strapping Nazis lighting their cigarettes, which they then blew in their faces.
Wait, why? Because the men knew how to use matches and the women didn't?
What
No, I
are
actually
you
don't
trying
get
to
it.
say,
Like,
Tom?
what?
All I'm saying is that she shouldn't have used a lighter. That's all.
Okay, I get that.
Oh.
I can't
No, I'm
believe this
sorry.
movie wasn't spot on with the historical details. I can't believe it.
I think it goes to show you that even though she's got a real tough, face put on, she's putting on her best face. Like, I'm not gonna be, she just kicked out Indiana Jones, and she's kind of on a roll here. And
Yeah.
she's got a little chink in her armor there where she's like, I'm a little bit nervous. Indy's gone, and there's 4 dudes here. The bar's closed. They're not thirsty.
I'm not
she's a
gonna
little
make
bit
any money.
Yeah, she's a little bit nervous, and sometimes people smoke when they get nervous.
I don't think she's nervous at all. I just don't know why she starts smoking.
I don't know why that's confused. As far as I can tell, people who smoke constantly, like every chance they get.
Well, actually, when you're nervous and you smoke and you calm down, it's called the smoker's paradox.
Oh.
Because there's absolutely nothing about a bolus of nicotine that should calm anybody down, but it happens to. I don't know why. It just does.
Weird.
Yeah.
So she says that she knows where it is. She tells Toth that she's like, no, but I know where it is. Why does she say that? Like, why doesn't she just say, I have no idea what you're talking about?
Because I think she's trying to see how much money he's going to give her.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Like, is she stalling, or is she considering, like, maybe she'll sleep with this guy? Like, would she ever make a deal with him over Indy?
I think
Yeah, I can
she's.
see it.
I think she's maybe stalling. There's one weird thing here, and again, I think she's nervous. She says, "Hey," and she throws it out there. "Hey, how about a drink for your men?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "Wait a minute. What? I mean, like, what? What is she doing?"
I think she's sort of like
she's a
whistling
little
past the
creeped out.
graveyard a little bit. I think she's sort of like, hey, everything's cool. How about a drink?
Actually, I think Jerry might have something here because she's kind of playing for time. Like, she's like, well, if I know where it is, you guys can't hurt me until I tell you.
Yeah, I would say that's probably it.
Well, I was wondering that too. It almost sounds like if you assume that she knows that Indy is still watching her through the keyhole or something and will pop in any second, it makes sense for her to be stalling and just trying to play it cool until he shows back up again. but I don't know.
I think she might. Yeah, I think she's hoping that maybe Indy's going to come back. I think she knows. I mean, she can smell trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Even
but
though
I don't think she knows Indy's going to come back.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
know if I
Aramac
assumed
was
that
what
either.
she used to call Indy. That was
Wait,
her
what?
quote. Maybe Aramac was her name for Indy.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Every guy with a hat who comes into her place and casts a
Listen,
shadow on that wall.
Aramac, be a good time for you to come in.
I don't know what kind of folks you're used to dealing with. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. That's next minute.
She's clearly nervous because that line kind of just falls in the middle of the floor. Hey.
Well, it's the first time she sounds hesitant at all. She's like, how about a drink for you?
Yeah. And she just told him the bar's closed, and she like spat it out. Bar's closed.
That was good. Yeah. Well, you can't blame her for being nervous.
No, I think she's
Guys are
freaking out a
creepy.
little bit, but doesn't want to show that she's freaking out.
Yeah.
And I think, Pete, you're right. I think it's like, no, but I know where it is.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't see the Nepali guys who come in with Toht. We don't see them any other time, right? Those are new characters. They're not previously
Right.
in the bar, and they're not employees of hers or anything.
Oh, no. Yeah, they're his
No.
guys.
According to the online Toht bio,
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
they were hired goons in Kathmandu.
Oh.
Okay.
They're like street thugs.
Street thugs, eh?
Yeah, again, they all have interesting hats.
None
Oh.
of them lights a lady's cigarette. Bad manners.
They're a bunch of brutes. I was freaked out for a minute doing research for this minute because I saw in the screenplay that he was referred to as the Toht, who has a different name, I think, in the screenplay. But it says that he is the European spy who was on the DC-3 with Indy. I'm like, oh my God, Dennis Muren was playing Toht. But if you go back in the screenplay, that's a different plane. That's like the plane from what, like
From Shanghai
from
to Nepal.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
from Shanghai to Nepal,
right.
and not from San Francisco to Shanghai.
Mm.
So you have to keep track of the alternate threads here,
That's right. It's a network of spies and deceit.
or not.
They're all nefarious.
Something has like bothered the hell out of me about this whole freaking movie for years.
Are you quitting?
Why are we calling this guy Toht?
The same reason we call Lobot Lobot.
Yeah, but
He's
I
like-
mean, but Lobot's just like a tiny little. I mean, Toht is a character in the movie who's he's like it's like not knowing Belloc's. You know, nobody says like the very first thing he goes Belloc.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? No one. Hey, Toht.
Right. Get Toht in
Oh
here.
my God, it's Toht.
Toht, what happened to your hand?
Yeah. How about a
Get that
drink
looked at.
for Toht and his men?
No, that's
So
a
you're
Nobody
reasonable
saying-
tells
point.
me what to do in my place, Toht.
Yeah.
You know that, Toht.
Listen, Air Mac. Actually, it's Toht. Oh,
Dude, we go through the whole movie, and everybody just talks about like, oh, it's Toht.
and by the
Oh,
way,
yeah,
I
you
called him
mean Toht?
Taut when I saw his name like in print, which is the only place I ever heard of it. I never heard it said. I just thought his name was Taut.
Yeah, when I was a little kid, we always called him Toht.
Yeah.
That's not as
Maybe
scary
his
as
name
Toht.
is Toht.
It's not.
I feel like. Oh, I feel like in the making of stuff, they refer to him as Toht, like Spielberg and those guys.
But he doesn't
I
have a
don't
first name. That's what you're telling me.
No, he
Jared.
does. It's like Arnold Toht.
Oh, it
no,
is Arnold.
Oh,
Toht.
yeah. Ernst or something.
Arnold. Ernst.
So it's his last name. Toht's his
Well, yeah.
last name.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
yeah. Arnold Ernst Toht.
See, I don't know that.
You don't have to.
Was there an action figure for Toht?
There was actually. That's an excellent. That's
Wait,
something
that's
I've been wanting to bring up. There was a whole action figure toy line for Raiders, and this is like a year after The Empire Strikes Back, and I did not care at all about any Raiders of the Lost Ark toys. I love the movie, and I bought other stuff like T-shirts and posters and stuff, but I didn't like the whole action figure aspect. I was like, And and you mentioned Toht. They had like one of the commercials which we'll probably find and post on our website, had it was like, oh, here comes Toht. There's a kid.
How many kids?
Going, here comes Toht.
Took a lighter to that action figure.
Right.
You know what we're gonna do Saturday?
The figure's really cool. You can apply heat to it and it melts. It's awesome. How'd they do
That
that?
guy whose face melts at the end. I don't know his name, but
It's a great trick, but I can only do it once.
Why? So Tom, why did your small child self discriminate between the Star Wars figures and the Raiders figures if they were both great movies?
I don't know. I guess I don't know. I would see the commercials as a kid, and they just immediately struck me as sort of also rans, and that they
Yeah.
Star Wars was it, and then anything else that wasn't Star Wars was just trying to kind of be Star Wars.
Well, it's probably so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I bought action figures for Empire Strikes Back and for Return of the Jedi, so I was still buying action, but I didn't buy any for this.
No, me too.
when you're a kid and you're playing, like on the ground playing, you're always playing in space.
Yeah. Even if you're on another planet in space.
Yeah, you're always playing in space. I mean, there might be a few exceptions, like you see Jaws and you're like, oh, let's go swimming or whatever. But for the most part, you're always in space.
Unless you're playing Barbies, in which case, no.
Oh well, I had I had an Indiana Jones doll.
Here it comes.
Here it is. I had a really
Barbie.
sexy Indiana Jones doll, like Barbie sized. Like he was like a taller, like old fashioned GI Joe sized. And he had like a felt hat and everything and stuff. And he
cool.
he had an affair with Barbie, with my sister's Barbie, and it was torrid. Plastic on plastic.
And did they drive around in the van, or
No, they just stayed in.
That's basically
in the
movie
townhouse,
number
then?
2. That's Temple of Doom.
I
Right.
see. I see.
Well, all right. Does anybody have anything else for minute 30? Or have we squeezed everything we can out of this week full of minutes?
It was a good week.
It has been an excellent week. Christy, I'm so glad you kept coming back. That was beautiful.
Thanks for having me back, guys.
You're an asset to the show.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Pete, where can people send their love letters to Christy Porter?
If you don't find her at williamandmary.edu, you can find her at indianajonesminute.com or find us on the Facebook page, and she'll be right there as well.
Beautiful. So come back next week for more fun, more Raiders of the Lost Ark here on the Indiana Jones Minute. we are not podcasts.
Listen, Toad.
It took me a minute to get you, Tom.
God, I'm exhausted.